Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds, owner of Mint Mobile, with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
New activation and upfront payment for 3-month plan required. Taxes and fees extra. Additional restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com for full terms.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Selling a little or a lot? Do your thing however you cha-ching with Shopify, the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/offer23.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds, owner of Mint Mobile, with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
New activation and upfront payment for 3-month plan required. Taxes and fees extra. Additional restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com for full terms.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Selling a little or a lot? Do your thing however you cha-ching with Shopify, the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/offer23. This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Selling a little or a lot? Do your thing however you cha-ching with Shopify, the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/offer23.
'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
Between writing notes, filing insurance claims, and scheduling with clients, it can be hard to stay organized. That's why I recommend Therapy Notes. Their easy-to-use platform lets you manage your practice securely and efficiently. Visit therapynotes.com to get 2 free months of Therapy Notes today. Just use promo code JOE when you sign up for a free trial at therapynotes.com. Hey ladies, welcome to Empowered and Unapologetic. I'm your host, Veronica Cisneros. So this is a 3-part series. Melissa Vogel and I teamed up to discuss all things health related. I want to ensure you received all of the information you needed to pursue a healthy lifestyle. I feel like most of us women struggle with body shaming, and we don't necessarily know what questions to ask or what's really standing in our way from pursuing the life we want to live. So her and I came up with a strategy to go out and answer all of the questions we could think of that really come in between a woman and her pursuit to a healthier life. So here's the breakdown. Episode 12 was originally going to be one episode, but Melissa kept on asking me question after question, and of course I answered them. I wanted to go out and make sure not only did her listeners gain the information they needed, but I realized, well, wait a minute. All of this information is on her podcast. Why not put it on mine? Hence the whole reason why we're here. So like I said, this is a 3-part series. If you haven't listened to episode 11 and 12, be sure to go back and listen to those episodes as well. So let me ask you a few questions. Are you struggling with being comfortable in your own skin? Do your insecurities hold you back? do you not think you're enough? Well, in this episode, Melissa interviews me about extremes, insecurities, and acceptance. I'm going to teach you how to shift your mindset to lean into your insecurities and challenge your fears. Let's go, ladies. Grab that pen and paper because it's about to get real.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bomb Bomb Podcast. I am your host, Melissa Vogel, and we are back with segment 2 with Veronica Cisneros, who is our amazing and loving licensed marriage and family therapist, motivational speaker. You guys got a piece of her. Now we're on part 2. She helps you step outside of your comfort zone. She's amazing. She wants you to be your best. She's like the most incredible, empowering, and unapologetic female ever. And you guys have to check out her podcast too, because it's empowered and unapologetic. So make sure you check her out. But Veronica, we are so happy to have you back here. Woo, woo.
Thank you. It's been years.
It's been so long. It's been so long. So you guys make sure you go back and listen to the first interview that we had with her because you don't want to miss out. And we're going to be talking about some things that we talked about in the first one, but we're just going to kind of like expand a little bit more on it because the first episode we talked about, you know, extremes and food and self-sabotaging and the emotions attached to it and just romanticizing food in general. And she hit so many good points, and I do not want you to miss out. But one of the things that we talked about was the extremes, you know, going from like, oh my God, I'm going to eat salads every day. I'm going to do so good. And then the next thing you're like fucking sitting on the floor in your closet eating like chocolate donuts and jelly beans. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. And you like you're like contemplating your entire life's decisions up to this point. And you've gone to the complete other extreme. And Veronica was talking about the middles. What's the middle, you know? And she talked about, you know, the 4 steps. So if you guys want those 4 steps, you have to listen to the first podcast. But during that, while she was talking about it, one of the steps is like discovering going to these extremes and how it's impacting your life. Actually, it was the second step. There, I gave you the second step. You got to listen to the other one for the third steps. But why? You know, like how is doing these extremes like impacting your life? And Veronica, you talked about a story, and if you can go back to it and fill us in more on it and talk about this process, because I think it was huge, and I think a lot of us women have been there before, of you were in your closet and you were literally trying to find ways to get your husband out so you could change because you didn't want to be in there with him.
Yes.
Share that with us, because I think there's so many of us, myself included, where it was like, I was at this point in my life where I didn't want anyone to want to see me. Like I felt ashamed. I felt like just disgusted with myself. And I'm like, dude, if I can't even look at myself in the mirror, no one else is going to want to see me or have sex with me or, you know, like all these stories I was writing. So please tell us about that experience. Give us more.
Of course. So my husband he's retired now, a Marine. And even though he's retired, he still has a nice ass body. Anyway, I digress. And, sorry, got a little too excited here.
Okay, calm down, take a drink of water.
Calm down, bring it back, Veronica, bring it back. All right. Well, so that's the thing. My husband, you know, he takes care of himself. He eats right. He does the things. And I feel like it comes so easy to him because he's been trained to do this. However, I have not. You know, I've not spent so many years doing this exact same thing.
Right.
So when I decided to go on this mission of I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want, well, all of a sudden my clothes stopped fitting me. And so I remember walking into the closet and like dreading it because here we are getting ready for date night. And, you know, of course we're in a hurry because we're late and Uber's about to come and pick us up, you know? And so the kids are coming in, my husband's, you know, saying, you know, hey, I'm ready, you know, whenever you're ready. And I remember just falling to the ground and like just crying, like totally crying and thinking, how the hell did I get here?
Right.
How did I get here? And I'm looking at all of my clothes that I think, you know, are like night out clothes. And it's like, well, there's no way in how I'm going to fit in it. There's no way. Like it's impossible.
Oh, yes.
And so, right. And so like, even with the girdle, even with whatever the hell, you know, corset, whatever the waist cincher.
Did you just say girdle?
hell to the yes, I said girdle. Like all of the things, like even if I wore all of them at once, there's no way any of my clothes are going to fit me. And I remember like just feeling defeated. And, my husband would pop in and I'd just start yelling at him and just create this argument because I'm still in my clothes. And he's like, how are you still in your clothes? And it's like, dude, I don't even want, like, get out. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to wear, and I totally threw it on him. I reversed the script and it's like, it's your fault because you're telling me the only time I get ready is for my friends. I don't get ready for you. And it's like, no, BS. I don't get ready for anybody, and I'm in there and I'm just really, really struggling. And I noticed that it was not only when I was changing, it was also when I was intimate, like being with my husband again,
yes,
there's some intimidation there, and even though, yes, my husband loves me for me, yada, 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 all of those things. At the same time, that's not the voice that I hear in my head when I'm on, when I'm being intimate with him. And that's not the voice. Instead, it's like, instead of being, on top, like go back on bottom, because you're feeling disgusted and, oh my God, I left the lights on and I have to come up with some crazy, idea on why I need to get up, while we're in the middle of it, like I need to come up with something really, really good in order for me to stop, turn off the lights, go back. Like it has to be something good. And it's like all of those things were in my bed. I was trying to get into my bed, but
it was happening in your bed.
It was happening in my bed. And so it was all of these insecurities coming up for me. And ultimately, I realized, well, wait a minute, I don't feel worthy and I feel completely insecure. And because I feel insecure, I don't want to be intimate with my husband. I don't want to have sex. Can we just cuddle with clothes on, and
in the dark and under blankets?
Pretty please.
With the dog in between us.
Yes. Why not? Maybe a kid, who knows? But just like just something. And I remember him holding me and it's like, I would like position myself and move in certain ways. So it was like, I'm going to say lonjas. That's Spanish for love handles. But I would do that and I would like twist and turn. And it's like, oh my God, it was like this constant, I was just being fidgety. And even, Willie would call me out and say, wait a minute, like, what's wrong? Like your head's not into this.
Right.
And it's like, oh no, it is. However, I want this. However, I'm all this negative self-talk. Yes. I'm like if you only knew, okay.
Right.
You knew what it's taking me to perform at this level right now.
Right. And they don't even care. They don't even care. They just,
no, they don't give a shit.
They don't care.
They do not give a shit.
It's all in our head and what's going on. I love that you're talking about this because like so many women that I talk on the phone with and do interviews with and stuff. And that's one of the things they talk about is like, oh, he says he loves me. He wants to have sex with me. And like, yada, yada, yada. But there's always this big but in the pause. And then usually they start crying and they're like, yeah, I'm not comfortable with myself. Like I don't want him to see me like that, even though I know he probably doesn't really care, but I can't get comfortable. So I think this is just a topic that like needs to be discussed more. And so I love that you're bringing it up. And like, how did you overcome that? Like, how did you even become the Veronica you are now?
No, absolutely. I realized that this didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Like, I like to think about this question, who is the person that you're trying to get acceptance from? Who was that person when you were a kid? Who was that person when you were a kid? And then think about who's that person today. And when you're met with constantly disappointing, when you're met with never meeting up, well, again, it turns into this internal dialogue of I'm not enough. I'm not enough. And so we don't do any of the things that we want to do. And we don't do them because we don't feel like we're capable of doing it. And so it was literally me saying, okay, wait a minute, enough. Like this is way too much. I'm trying to be intimate with my husband and it's impacting me and I'm trying to, get dressed and I can't. Well, yes, I can say, and everybody else might say, well, damn dude, it's your fault. Like, let go of the donuts or let go of this. Well, yeah, that's easy for you to say.
Yeah. Super easy.
Right? However, understanding why is this happening? Why do I turn to that? And so for me, it was really diving deep. And, as part of my own personal work with me really paying attention to, okay, why do you not think you're enough? Why is it so why are you so quick to do all of these things, even though you know you're going to be in this closet next week or next Friday or next month when there's another party, there's another kids party, there's another event happening. Why do you do this? And I realized, holy moly, every time I self-sabotage, I'm also exposed to this level of shame. And that feeling hurts so much. That feeling hurts so much. And I don't know what to do with it because nobody's ever taught me. And so maybe I need help. Maybe I need somebody else to go ahead and teach me, somebody else that's not going to judge me, somebody else that I feel safe and confident with, right? And, I ended up reaching out, and I remember reaching out to you, Melissa, and it was having that honest conversation with, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm doing all of the things. And, yes, I'm a therapist. Yes, I teach, I train people how to do this.
Right.
However, I'm struggling with this,
right.
And thinking about it, it's like, okay, well, I'm struggling with this and my clients are struggling with this, and I could totally teach them. I could take them there. I could do all of those things, but there's something interrupting my process. And I need to be even more educated with how I actually take action. And even though there was those steps, it was being able to go ahead and trust the process, and trust, even trusting you, that you were going to help me get to where I needed to be without feeling ashamed. You know what I mean?
Yep. Bingo. And that's the thing too, is like, no more shame, like put it to an end. And that's hard for women to let go. That's
yes.
Like you said, like, because that shame it's comfortable. Like it's familiar. I shouldn't say comfortable. It's familiar. People like consistency and familiarity. You said before too, like, who are you trying to get acceptance from? Or who were you always trying to get acceptance from a kid? How much does that come back in and play a role in this, and allowing someone else to come in and help you and move forward from that?
Oh God, it plays a huge role. It plays a huge role because that's part of that negative self-talk.
See, and I don't think people realize that at all.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's part of that negative self-talk in I'm not enough. And so, we call this in clinical worlds, distorted thoughts. And so those distorted thoughts, we believe that they're facts.
Yeah.
We believe that they're 100% true and there's nobody that can argue it, right? And most of the time we're, what we call overgeneralizing, catastrophizing, minimizing. And so with those distorted thoughts, we tend to go ahead and run with them and believe them, and again, hold them as 100% true. So when you're able to go ahead and challenge them, well, then that negative self-talk turns into something completely different. Because yes, I can say, you know what, I'm not enough. Yes, I can say, I'm never going to be, whatever goal I want. I'm never going to achieve whatever goal I want to achieve because I've never done it before, and I'm never going to go ahead and live the life I want to live. Well, that's bullshit. And it's bullshit because you're using the word never.
Right.
And never is for the rest of your life. Like, this is a moment. This is a very, very small moment. And who knows what next week will look like? None of us can determine that. None of us are even in control of it. And so if we could take a step back and really pay attention to that negative self-talk, like, what am I saying? How am I catastrophizing? How am I making something small into something really, really big? How am I fortune telling? Well, I'm fortune telling because I'm saying it'll never happen. So now I'm setting up the rest of my life to look this way, which is impossible. It's impossible. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I don't know if, in 3 months or however long it takes to run a marathon. I've never ran one, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I have no clue. So why would I do that? Well, again, that's because that's all we've known.
Right.
And so being able to go ahead and step out of our comfort zone because of where we're at, because of how we're feeling, because of how it's impacting us, provides us with this sense of empowerment. And, and in addition to that, we become unapologetic in that I'm not going to ask, anybody. I'm not going to ask my husband. I'm not going to ask my friends for permission to do this. I give myself permission. And because I give myself permission, it's a choice that I'm actually making. Right. And so helping women understand that this is a decision you get to make on your own. Like, you get to decide. And I know all of these things, the sports and, your schedule and the house and the dog and, your neighbor's kids. I know all of these people depend on you. I get it. However, that's a decision you made. And you made that active choice to go ahead and be that busy and invest in everyone else. So the same thing applies. You get to make an active choice to do something different every single time. And I got tired of doing that. Now lights on, it's happening however, like, let's just go. You know what I mean? And same thing with the closet. Like, it's, I won't go there, but we'll try to keep this Disney rated.
Keep it rated PG-13 a little bit.
I will do PG-13, but it's just, there's this level of confidence in, am I 100% there? No, it's something that we're going to constantly work on. We're human.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no level of perfection, and it's something I'll work on for the rest of my life. Gladly.
Yeah.
Gladly, because I'm constantly evolving and changing and growing.
But like you said, like, you get to make that choice. Yes. I think that was huge. That was like, I think light bulbs probably went off for like so many people listening. Like, it was your choice to be busy. It's your choice to undo it. It's your choice to identify the negative self-talk, and that's power. You get to choose. Like, and that's fun. Yes. That's exciting. That's, you get to let go and release that and move forward from that. And that's huge. And I know what a lot of people are questioning, because a lot of women are listening to this and going, but how? Like, how do I make that choice? How do I give myself permission to do that without feeling the guilt?
That's a great question. Well, I'm going to ask you, what is it costing you? What is it costing you right now?
Yes.
Right now. What is this costing you to live this way? Is it costing you your relationship? Are you really connected with your husband, or do you just put on a mask?
Right.
Are you really connected with your children? And I don't mean like connected like you play with them. I get it. You play with them. You're a great mom. You're a great mom already. However, are you emotionally connected with them? Are they able to come to you and you're able to go out and listen versus fix? Are you able to truly be in the moment? Or the minute you hear the word mom, you cringe and you're ready to just run away.
Right.
Are you up in the middle of the night, thinking about the 5 tasks you didn't do and beating yourself up over it because you completed 1,000, but those damn 5 tasks, I didn't get them done and I have to wake up. And I say this often. Most of the time we wake up to the checklist. We're slave to the checklist because that checklist provides us validation.
Right.
5 years from now, if your life was to look like this, would you be happy? And so that's going to help you answer the question with, what is it costing you? Because it's costing you a whole hell of a lot. And if you're not doing anything to change, well, guess what? This is going to be exactly how it is. This is going to be your life next year, and the year after that, and the year after that.
Yep.
In addition to that, another question I like to ask women is, how is it benefiting you? And this is where I lose a lot of women, because they're like, okay, wait a minute, Veronica. No, it's not. Didn't you just hear me? I just told you all of the reasons, that it's what it's costing me and, how it's impacting my relationship. I hear this not only in my private practice, but I also hear it with women that I coach. And it's like, Veronica, it doesn't benefit me. I want to get rid of this. Help me, take it away. Like, let me be done with it. And it's like, okay, well, let's, if I was to take it away from you, like, let's just go ahead and I'm going to give you something that most people are now aware of. Let's say I've had people in my private practice say, Veronica, I'm experiencing anxiety. Like, take it away right now. I've had clinicians tell me, that I've seen that are my clients, Veronica, I already know the routine. I already know what to expect. I already know how to do this. Okay, I'm having anxiety. Let's jump. Let's go. You don't have to do the whole, the lights and everything else.
Right.
Like, let's just jump to it. And I'll reply with, you won't let me. You won't let me. It's not that easy. You will literally fight for that damn anxiety. You know why? Because it's benefiting you in a way. And when you're ready, and I take this approach with my the people that I coach as well. When you are ready, you will get to a place where you'll realize you don't need it anymore. But I can't take it away from you because you'll fight me. However, we'll get to a place, right? We're going to get to a place. The way this is going to work is you and I are going to work together. We're going to identify and explore what's happening. And then in that process, you're going to start to see how it's benefiting you and how it's protected you. It's been this double-edged sword. It's protected you, and it's also caused you great harm.
Yes.
You're going to be able to identify that, right? And you're going to be able to see, well, wait a minute. I get to stay in this familiar routine. I get to do the same things I've done before, and I don't have to experience pain.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I've experienced pain, I didn't know what to do, and there was nobody to help me. And that's where I say, okay, well, hello, I'm doing it with you. And then we go through that process, and we go through that process together. And in therapy, it looks way different than it does from coaching, right? We're going so much deeper in therapy.
Yes. In
coaching, we're taking you through this process, and it's goal-oriented. So what do I need to do right now? What step? Both are goal-oriented. However, again, the level of severity is different.
Right.
And so what do I need to do to take this next step? And okay, so it's benefiting me. Here's how. It's benefiting me because, again, this is all I've known. It's familiar, and I know how to react if anything goes wrong. The other path, it's uncharted territory, and I'm scared. And although I do trust you, I don't think you understand how scared I am. And so that's why we walk it together. And we, the same thing with your community. I have a community where it's us women going through it together, and there's support. It's this non-judgmental environment where we get to go ahead and speak our truths out loud. And it's through that journey that change really happens, because we're being honest with ourselves and we're treading lightly.
And this is the coaching that you're talking about. There's therapy.
Absolutely.
And then the coaching. So, okay, because I know people are like, wait, what? What did she do? I want to be a part of this. How can they be a part of this coaching with you? Where do they go? Like, how can they join this group?
Well, so I have the Facebook group, which is a free group.
Okay.
And that free group is focused on, we're just kind of treading lightly, and just kind of seeing what this is all about.
Yeah.
And
like an intro.
We're just in a community. Bingo. We're just in a community of women, and we're doing challenges. We're doing, we're just starting to recognize that things aren't the way we want them to be.
Okay. What's that free group?
Right?
What's that free group? Tell us.
So that free group it's in the group section. It's Facebook /groups/empowered and unapologetic, right?
Okay.
That's the free group. However, to take it even further.
Yeah. I want the real coaching one. I want to know more about that. Like free's fun. Like everyone should join free, but I think the listeners are going to want to know, no, really, I really want to I want to find out how this shit's benefiting me. That's negative.
Absolutely.
And I don't need my life. And what is this costing me? I want to dig more in. How can we coach with you to do this?
So we have the VIP group. So in the VIP group, we create a personalized plan for you, where you want to go. We explore your goals. We talk about your insecurities, and we go through it together. And you attend live coaching calls. You're hand-selected an accountability partner. And all of that's on a private Facebook group. So nobody has access to it.
Awesome.
And also that's I believe you'll go ahead and include that in the show notes.
Yes.
The link to
the
membership.
We'll put the show notes, put that in the show notes for sure there. If they don't know how to use podcasts and they're just listening, they're like, I don't even know what show notes are. How can they get a hold of you? How can we find you?
This will be on my website, empoweredandunapologetic.com. And you'll see this big red button that says join the VIP community.
Perfect.
And there you go. You can sign up for your membership.
Perfect. Because I think once people start listening to this and really diving down of holy crap, she totally described me. That's my relationship. That's my marriage. And this is costing me things that I don't want to admit. I'm doing bad things that are benefiting me and not in a good way. That hits home. That's hard to admit. Yes. I'm holding on to this terrible action, these terrible thoughts, because it still benefits me and it's not in a good way,
Absolutely.
So,
and I want you guys to think about it too. I love, I appreciate that you said that right now. I want you guys to think about it, instead of good and bad, think about it. Is this healthy or is this unhealthy? Because if we could look at it that way, through that lens, then we're able to make a decision a lot quicker, and it'll be a more, I don't want to say a more educated decision, but it'll be a decision that'll actually last.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not bad, good.
Yes.
It's healthy, not healthy.
Absolutely.
going to help me be a better person, not help me be a better person. You know?
Right? Bingo.
So you guys, you have to know that like, you don't have to go through this alone. You can reach out and get coaching. Like maybe therapy's not your jam. Like maybe you're like, no, I definitely need more of a group environment. I need that coaching. I want to work through this stuff. You can get a hold of Veronica. You can be a part of Team Busy to Bomb Fit Mom. Like you don't have to go through this stuff alone. And you know what's really cool? It doesn't matter where you live. You don't have to live by us. You can work with us no matter where you live. That's really cool.
Bingo.
One thing I love about technology.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, Veronica, I'm so glad you came back on with us today. Like, this was just, I think it was even better than the first one. Like, it was just awesome. Like, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. Now, tell us, how else can we find you? Are you on social media?
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram, Empowered and Unapologetic. And the same with Facebook, as I gave you guys earlier. The Facebook group is Empowered and Unapologetic. So yeah, it's in the Facebook group /groups/Empowered and Unapologetic.
Perfect. If we're going to search those words, Empowered and Unapologetic, we are going to find you. Seriously. Like we're going to,
exactly.
We're going to find you. Oh my God. Make sure you find her podcast too, you guys, and listen to her. Empowered and Unapologetic. I love it. Oh, thank you again for coming on. Everyone, make sure you rate and review this podcast. Make sure you check out the show notes. Make sure you check out the email course because we are here to help you. We're here to help you keep going. And if you watch and listen to Veronica's podcast, make sure you rate and review that too. Every little rate and review helps us. All right, Veronica, thank you so much for being on here. Any last words for our listeners?
Get that shit done.
Yeah.
Lean into fear and let's go.
That's right. I love it. I love it. All right, you guys, have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, you can be a bomb mom. Just takes that first step and taking action. All right, have an amazing day. Goodbye.
What's up, ladies? Just want to let you guys know that your ratings and reviews for this podcast are greatly appreciated. If you love this podcast, please go to iTunes right now and rate and review. Thank you, guys. Many women lose their own identity in the shadow of being a mom and a wife. We are a community of women who support each other. We leave perfectionism behind to become empowered and unapologetic. I know you're ready for the next steps. If you want to become empowered and unapologetic, get my free course, Unapologetically Me, over at empoweredandunapologetic.com/course. This podcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regards to the subject matter covered. This is given with the understanding that neither the host, practice of the practice, or the guests are providing legal, mental health, or other professional information. If you need a professional, you should find one.
Addiction impacts all of us. Addiction's consequences run through all of us. From ourselves to our loved ones and through our communities, addiction creates so much loss and grief. My name is Dwayne Osterlin, and I'm the host of the Addicted Mind podcast, a show featuring personal stories, expert guests, and vital information about addiction and addiction recovery. We'll talk with leading treatment providers to discuss the latest research and treatment options for this devastating disease and advocate for mental health awareness. We discuss topics like the importance of creating a community of support to helping loved ones to some of the latest research on psychedelic medicines. The Addicted Mind podcast has been about creating hope, listening to stories of many amazing people that have overcome addiction and are thriving. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, subscribe to the Addicted Mind podcast wherever you get your podcasts or check out theaddictedmind.com. New episodes every Monday. See you there. Addiction impacts all of us. Addiction's consequences run through all of us. From ourselves to our loved ones and through our communities, addiction creates so much loss and grief. My name is Dwayne Osterlin, and I'm the host of the Addicted Mind podcast, a show featuring personal stories, expert guests, and vital information about addiction and addiction recovery. We'll talk with leading treatment providers to discuss the latest research and treatment options for this devastating disease and advocate for mental health awareness. We discuss topics like the importance of creating a community of support to helping loved ones to some of the latest research on psychedelic medicines. The Addicted Mind podcast has been about creating hope, listening to stories of many amazing people that have overcome addiction and are thriving. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, subscribe to the Addicted Mind podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or check out theaddictedmind.com. New episodes every Monday. See you there.
Hey there. This is Casey McGuire Davidson, host of the Hello Someday podcast. I'm an ex-red wine girl turned life coach who helps busy women change their relationship with alcohol. I spent 20 years climbing the corporate ladder while drinking a bottle of wine a night to unwind. In the Hello Someday podcast, my goal is to teach you the tried and true secrets of creating and living a life you don't want to escape from. Each week, I'll bring you tools, lessons, and conversations to help you drink less and live more. I'll teach you how to navigate our drinking-obsessed culture without a buzz, and how to turn the decision to stop drinking from your worst-case scenario to the best decision of your life. You can find new episodes of the Hello Someday podcast every Thursday, wherever you listen, and I hope you check it out.
I know we've been taught that motherhood requires alcohol. I know we've been taught not to question our relationship with alcohol until we've lost everything. And I know we've been taught that if we do dare to examine our relationship with alcohol, we need to head straight to AA and declare ourselves an alcoholic who is powerless to alcohol forever. But what if all that isn't true? That's definitely not my story. I'm Suzanne, the host of the Sober Mom Life podcast. I'm an influencer who stopped drinking in January 2020, and since then, I've been telling the truth about motherhood, influencing, alcohol, and sobriety. If you suspect deep down that glass or 3 of wine at night might just be making motherhood harder, well, you're right. Come and join me as I chat with other sober and sober-curious moms. Let's laugh, cry, and normalize sobriety together, all while we reheat our coffee for the 4th time today.
It's easy to blame ourselves for our struggles with alcohol. We see people around us being able to control their drinking without any consequences, yet no matter what we try, we can't seem to figure it out for ourselves. My name is Jillian Teets, and I am the host of the Sober Powered podcast, where I use my biochemistry background to explain the latest research in addiction and help you understand both why you drink the way you do and how to develop the skills and mindset you need to find freedom from alcohol. I discuss topics like why we think about our drinking 24/7, why we have no off switch, and why we crave alcohol. If you're struggling with your drinking or you know someone who is, then I hope that you will check out the Sober Powered podcast. New episodes every Friday. See you there.